Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So as I'm heading to a hair appointment right now, a place that I've been to for the last year and a half. Even though we moved to a new neighborhood about 7 months ago, I still at times will pick up my phone and do the GPS to take me there. Now you might go, oh, Jesus, either Karen's like really geographically challenged, which is actually true. Direction is not bad. Geography, I'd be on that like, are you smarter than a third grader, fifth grader, whatever that show was at for a while? Yeah, that kid probably would be. It's not my strong point, geography. Just have no interest in it. However, directions, not bad. If I've driven, for sure, better. But there are times that I still do that. And I really wanted to talk about something different in this episode than directions and geography. But here's my tie-in. And here's what made me go, oh my God, what a great analogy that is for what I really want to speak about today, which is parenting. And, so we are right now, let me see, how many days has it been? Our kids were off school for 2 weeks on a holiday Christmas vacation. And then we just came back yesterday from a week. So we piggybacked like a week trip to Maui at the end of that. Okay, number one, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. It was a beautiful trip. Listen, I'm not going to complain about this whatsoever. It's a beautiful trip to Maui. Was, I would say, actually, I think both my husband and I agreed, like, best trip so far with the kids. Because with kids, it can be a shit show. If you don't know and you're not a parent, you go, but I've babysat, but I've watched my nieces and nephew. No, you don't fucking know until you're a parent. You don't. You don't know what you don't know. And so, yeah, the 2 weeks in itself is a challenge. And we had a couple sitters, and there was one day our oldest boy was at a day camp. Kai was his daycare was back a couple of those days. But for the most part, it was really, really all for routine. And so today is Sunday. As I record this podcast, my kids go back to school and daycare tomorrow. Thank fucking God. Oh, my Lord. And we go back to routine. Thank fucking God. For me too, and for my husband. Like, we want this routine. It's nothing wrong with having a break from routine, having things be different, but routine is really like, we thrive on this. I really think everybody does. There's just some of you have different views of that. You think it's like, if you let loose and the routine goes like way off, somehow you want that. And then you might be like 3 or 4 days into it, you just feel like shit. You feel like shit physically, mentally, emotionally, all over the place. Like, you don't sometimes realize in this way, sometimes going off the rails is not a bad thing, because it makes you realize how good it is when you're on, right? When you're on that routine. But today is the last day, and yesterday traveling with the kids. Now we left on a Friday night at 11:30 p.m. Most of the flights that leave from Maui are red eyes. That's really one of the pieces of this where I'm just, probably every single trip, I look at my husband and I go, we ain't never doing a red eye again. Then we do it again. And this is the last time with the kids. Like, until they get older, like, such a shit show, blah, blah, blah. Like, And really, it was mostly our 4-year-old. Our oldest boy, not so much. He's 7 now. He's kind of settling into stuff. He's traveled a lot. He's, old enough. And he's also a really self-aware kid to kind of go, Mommy, I'm tired. I'm going to close my eyes. And we go, cool. Right? We don't even have to go like, buddy, you should probably close your eyes and sleep on the, leave me in the car. And he'll be like, can I have some peace and quiet? Guys, I just want to close my eyes for like 10 minutes. Like, he's aware that way, right? But our 4-year-old Kai, oh my goodness. He is just psycho. That's it. He's psycho. He's a sociopath. He makes no logical sense. He's irrational. He's overactive and emotional because he is 4. And that's the way it rolls when you're 4. But it's like they appear like they're psychopaths. So it is good that he is cute, because holy shit, that kid is a maniac right now. And so it made me think this. I'll finally get to my point. on this podcast, and how the linking of the geography, the setting the GPS is the parenting. And so it makes me think of this. There is no fucking map for parenting. There is no map for parenting. Zero. Now, are there some maybe decent parenting books? Sure. I've read a lot of them. There's been a couple I'd say that have been pretty key and pretty amazing. One is which is called The Awakened Family by Dr. Shefali Tsabary, which is Tsabary, Bury, one of those two. I mean, you can Google it, The Awakened Family. She's brilliant. Also a book called The Conscious Parent. But like even like great, like just amazing books that are real, like hers, they don't really light a candle to actually being a parent. Like the action you have to take, the day-to-day. See, all these things can be directing you and navigating you. Even my GPS could be navigating me, and I could not listen. I could literally tune out and not pay attention. Now, you might go, yeah, but it's talking to you. It'll be like, if you go off, it'll be like rerouting, and then find a new path. Which is also, I think of as I give that piece of the story right now, that is also a lot like parenting. Not only do you not know where you were going half the time, or feel like you don't know where you're going, or feel like you're lost. Like, oh, I thought it was this direction. That's it, feel like you're lost. But there'll be many times with parenting that you need to reroute. You need to call an audible. You need to find a new way on how to get to best parent your children. And all of them will be different. So right now with our youngest, again, he's 4, almost 4.5. He is very inconsistent with potty training. He hasn't once pooped on the potty. Dude's 4.5. It is January to record this podcast. He starts kindergarten in September. We're like, little man, you got to make this happen. Like, you can't be in pull-up in kindergarten. And he goes, well, I just want to go to kindergarten. We're like, oh, fuck, that didn't work. Yet he pees on the potty probably 95% of the time at daycare. No problems. Kind of like a lot of kids are this age, right? But there's something about at home, something with mommy and daddy. It's a whole new flavor. Which, by the way, too, if you are not a parent and you see other people's kids and you go, what? But when I see them, they're always this way. Or when you babysit them, or when you watch your niece and nephew, it is not the same as the parent. All of the best behavior, I say best meaning worst, is reserved for mommy and daddy. And that is, again, simply the way it works. And you could go through all the stuff. They feel safest with you. They feel like they can be themselves with you. They're testing boundaries with you. And all that shit's true, but it doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't change the fact that you will have times in your role as a parent, which is forever. Yep, that commitment is forever. You will always have times where you feel like you don't know where the fuck you're going. And you're going to tune into that GPS, right? Which might be listen to something like this podcast or reading a book. Maybe that could be something that kind of helps to reroute you, right? It can be getting really clear on what is it that I really want for my children? Like, how can I best serve my children to become powerful men and powerful women? It can be a conversation with your husband, with the children's father, with your partner, whoever is co-parenting with you, or if you're a single mama, whoever is helping you, of like, listen, this is what's really important. Let's all be on the same team here. Listen, I have that conversation with my husband often. Because we can easily fall back into the roles of mommy's a little bit more strict and like kind of lays down the law, and daddy just is, the fun daddy, lets them do cool stuff. And oh, don't worry, don't tell mommy about the shit I bought at Starbucks and the stuff that we've talked about not doing. And of course, my kids are like, they're like truth tellers, man. They can't lie. I swear to you, they can't lie. There's a reason I don't even take my kids, shopping for a present for daddy or for Chris, because I've done it. They go, hey, daddy, guess what we got you? We got you this. I'm like, dude, we talked about this. It's a surprise. You promise not to tell? Yeah, I promise, mommy. Did you promise? Remember, this is a surprise today. Yeah, I promise. But remember, last time I said, oh, I won't tell mommy. I promise you. Drive home, walk in the door. Hey, daddy, we got you a shirt. We're like, fuck, dude. So we can fall into those patterns at times, and then we'll have a conversation back. Usually I'm the one It's starting at saying, look it, hun, I love you. You're an amazing daddy. That is the absolute truth. But here's what's happening. The kids are playing us. We cannot let the inmates run the asylum. Like, this shit does not go down with me. So let's really get back on the same page. We are a team. Right now, if we think we're kind of you're parenting the way that you are and I the way I am, and then we got the two kids against each of us, like, this does not work well. The odds are not in our favor. Like whatever that movie was, Mockingbird, based on books. The odds are in your favor. The odds are not in our favor if we don't really work together as a team. Like, we got this. We're great parents, but trying to do it separately is just, it's not working. And so, yeah, there'll be times that we have that conversation of like, hey, let's get back on the same page here and really work this together. But you just need to know that there's going to be times when you feel lost. You don't feel like you know what you're doing. You feel like you're going in that wrong direction. You feel like you're fucking everything up. And yes, you're going to do the things to kind of get yourself back on track. But I think, the biggest piece of this podcast is I really want to share this is like, it's okay if you feel that way. If there's nothing else you get in this podcast episode, it's that. It's okay if you feel that way. It is normal. And if you don't feel that, you are either like, you're like my son. You're like the delusional, the sociopath, the psychopath. You feel like it's not okay to have these conversations to say, man, parenting is hard. And I love my kids, but I don't like them today. Nope, they're being little shits. And to know that that's okay, that is real. Real. My previous podcast, which is called Mom at 41, which, by the way, is still on iTunes. It's been over 2.5 years since I stopped. When I stopped at episodes that podcast when I started this one. And that really was the main message, is like just embrace the imperfection of motherhood, because this is the way that it is. And the conversations can't be had enough of that. Within all that, everybody's looking great on Facebook, right? Everybody's given the highlight reel. But the bottom line is parenting is tough, and you're going to feel like this at times, and that's okay. So here's your more tip for today then, sister. I'm thinking of this. I'm just kind of, often when I give these more tips, I listen inside of the voice. And so here's what's coming to me right now. I want you to open up your journal. And at the top of it, right, I'm a good mother because, or if you're a guy listening, I'm a good father because, and start writing. Because I'm telling you, you are doing an amazing job right now. Yes, of course, you can always be better. Yes, there's times we lose our shit and we go, oh, why did I do that? You're normal. So I'm a good mother because, or I'm a good father because, and start writing and see what insights really come up from that. And I would love to send you a journal for free, sister. If you haven't gotten one of the Women Wanting More limited edition journals already, yes, I'm still giving them out for free. As I record this podcast episode, I've got about 200 that are left, and then that'll be it. The free journals will be done. They will be done from that point on. You will miss out. So I will ship this to anywhere in the world. I've sent them out to South Africa, Croatia, Canada, US, Australia, New Zealand, Spain, Mexico, Ireland. Oh my gosh. A lot of other countries. Israel. There's something like 15, 16, 18 countries so far. Here's what you need to do. Head over to drkarenosbrom.com/free journal. In your show notes, you can click on the link and I will send that to you. Just take care of a little bit of shipping and I take care of all the rest. In addition, make sure to subscribe to the newsletter over at drkarenosbrom.com. Puts you on the VIP list, and you get first access to all of the cool shit and new programs and experiences and information that's coming out on Women Wanting More, this message and movement, this revolution of women who want more within their life. And here's something I'm going to ask you to do as well then too that I haven't done in a long time. I would love for you to leave a review for me on iTunes. If you dig this podcast, if you get value from it, leave a review. People read these and decide whether or not they're going to even actually listen. So leave an honest review, 5-star, subliminal, 5-star, awesome review, honest review of the podcast. And you can do that whether you're listening at iTunes, Stitcher, or that's it. I actually don't have the podcast and anything else. So iTunes or Stitcher, and you can leave that review, and I would very much appreciate that, sister. So I'll talk on the next episode. A life of more is just one step away from me doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosbrom.com/newsletter.